Hello, my name is Joshua Hoffman, and I'm here to tell you about my literacy experiences growing up. My first glimpse of literacy came from my family. Unlike a lot of families, the time we spent together was not in front of TV watching movies, but rather in the living room reading books together. I fondly remember those nights when my siblings and I would curl up around the hot fire in our living room and my dad would read to us. I remember listening to my dad read magical stories from Grimm's fairy tales, and how sometimes they were really freaky. I also remember my dad reading to me stories of Homer Price and his amazing adventures he had, like the giant ball of yarn race or his mishap with the donut machine, which I'll admit sounds pretty lame right now, but when I was a little kid, it was awesome. By far, my favorite book growing up was Cloudy with a Chance at Meatballs. Whenever I say this, people only think of the movie, which the movie's awesome, but the book's also great. You should go read it. Eventually, when I got a little older, my parents thought it was time to stop reading to me and let me read on my own. This made me sad because I loved the attention I got when I was read to, and I really didn't want to give that up. But I had to, so I decided to give reading on my own a shot. I soon found that the books on my reading level were very limited. Like Dr. Seuss. Oh, and Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss. Too much Dr. Seuss! No! Excuse me. Anywho, I was getting bored of reading fast, and I was ready to quit altogether. I was so sick of hearing my brothers talk about the awesome books that they're reading, while I was still reading baby books. One series of books in particular stuck out as their holy grail of books, and that was The Incredible Worlds of Wally McDougall. My brothers told me that Wally McDougall was a funny, clumsy nerd who always managed to stumble into awesome adventures, like fighting mechanical monsters, or being shrunk down to explore the human body from the inside, and other wacky mishaps. All in all, I just could not wait to start reading these books. Reading these books was really hard for me at first, and I often had to go to my brothers to ask for help with the words. But at this time, I was so excited to read these stories that I really didn't even care. Eventually, I got faster and faster at reading, and I just had to go to the library to get more Wally McDougall books. After a long time, I finished reading all 30 Wally McDougall books, and I really thought they were the coolest thing ever. Reading so many books really gave me a strong feeling of accomplishment, but I couldn't stop there. The Wally McDougall books showed me just how much fun reading can actually be. They worked as a springboard into my literacy. From there, I jumped on to bigger and better books. The next big push into my literacy came from my mom. The first installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Fellowship of the Ring, had just come out in theaters, and I had to see it. When I first asked my mom if I could see the movie, she said yes. That is, after I read The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. That's like 1,600 pages, which is a pretty daunting task for a little kid. It took me about a year to read all that, so the movie was long out of theaters. But as a consolation prize, my parents bought the DVD for me on my birthday. After reading The Lord of the Rings, I spent much of my time reading the masterpieces of literature. I enjoyed each and every one of these books immensely. But now I spend most of my time in a different sort of literature, music. I don't think I'd be where I am now if it wasn't for interesting books like William McDougall that show me just how much fun it is to read and got me started on my literacy adventure. Well, that's all I have time for now. Keep reading, and may the force be with you.